satellite scan. Satellite coming down in 3, 2, 1.
Human trafficking in Texas is illegal. It is a trade of human beings as it occurs in the state of Texas, a modern-day form of enslavement that usually involves commercial sex exploitation or forced labor. Human trafficking is particularly relevant in Texas because of its close proximity to the U.S.-Mexico border, one of the most crossed international borders in the world. According to the Department of Health and Human Services, more than 50,000 people are trafficked annually from foreign countries into the United States through the state of Texas. At any given time, Texas contains around 25% of the trafficked persons in the United States of America. Texas is also a huge transit site for domestic trafficking, with around 20% of domestic trafficking victims traveling through the state. 313,000 people in Texas are currently victims of human trafficking.
I don't understand this. How are all these women coming up missing, and why are they being labeled as runaways? This is such a dysfunction here. This is the same thing I saw in Eagle Pass. Yes. No, I'm not sure. I don't really know what's going on here. No. Yeah, I was just really trying to look through some of my files that I have, and I'm getting a little concerned.
This is Shantavia's story.
Yes,
This happens every day to African American women on a regular basis.
Dr. Simmons.
Most don't even live to tell their story,
Special victims
and some who live
and the international
are never found.
And we're here to take your testimony from October the 17th. I wanted to make you aware that we will be recording your testimony, and we are looking at prosecuting several criminals who's involved with human trafficking. Do you understand what I just said to you? Please state your name, your social security number, your age, and where you're from, and give me an account of the events, what you can recall, and let's be detailed about that night. So go ahead.
My name is Shantavia Monique Bellafleur.
Okay, honey, you can lean back. Just relax. It'll be able to pick you up, so you can relax back in your chair.
My social security number is 465-966167. I'm originally from New Orleans, but my family moved here after Hurricane Katrina. So, I really like this boy. His name was Michael Stevenson, but everybody called him Mike. You know, he was a pretty boy, and my heart would literally skip a beat when he told my friends that he was feeling me.
Feeling you? What, for the record, state, what does that mean?
It meant he liked me.
Okay, continue.
He would be at school and he'll brush up against me, You know, like he didn't mean to do it on purpose. So one of my homegirls gave him my phone number because I was too scared to give it to him myself. I thought it was a joke until he hit me up.
You mean he called you?
Well, at first we text, then he called me and we talk on the phone.
So how long did this go on?
I say about a month or so. Then the day came when he asked me to send booty shots, you know, pics of my butt.
Okay, go ahead, I got you.
I didn't want to do it because it just didn't feel right, you know what I mean? But I liked Mike, and I wanted to show him that I liked him.
Were you fully nude, or was it just of your rear end?
No, I was all the way nude, both front and back. I wanted him to see what I was working with. I had one of my homegirls take a few pictures for me fresh out the shower. It really made me feel good when he said that he liked the way I looked naked. And so he gave me a special invitation to a party where the whole basketball team was going to be at. So my friend Shalonda and I went and picked up my other homegirl, Tanika, on the way to the party. And I wore an outfit that I knew Mike would like. As soon as we got to the party, Mike and his friends had us do shots. I was uncomfortable at first, but taking them down became easier. After the fourth shot, the room started to spin, and I blacked out. The only thing I can remember is Mike asking if I wanted to go somewhere private, and I wanted to be alone with him, so I went. But I can't remember what happened after that.
Do you remember anything else, anything at all, such as the voices that you may have heard at the party, faces of people that were at the party?
I remember my back hurting and waking up cold. I was hurting in between my legs, my butt, and my jaw was sore. I couldn't move. I couldn't say anything. I got really sick and threw up when I finally realized that I was naked. I tried crying for help, but no one would come. Nothing would come out of my mouth, just vomit. I got on my hands and my knees, and I crawled on all fours through a half-open door. I didn't recognize where I was at. I just knew I wasn't at the house that me and my friends went to. I saw 3 men sitting on a couch, staring at me. They were laughing while I was crying. And I was in so much pain. That's when I realized I was bleeding in between my legs. I wasn't even able to raise my right arm above my head because the pain was so bad. And that's when I looked down and realized it was broken. I had bruises everywhere. I started to cry because I was scared. I was embarrassed, hurt, and no one that was there to help me. I screamed, and one of the men said, "Baby, ain't nobody can hear you." They all started making their way over to me, pushing me back in the room that I crawled out of. I just closed my eyes and prayed that it would be over soon. They all climbed on top of me, taking their turns. And when they were done, I wiggled my wrist out of some rope that they had tied around me. And I gathered up all the strength I could and climbed out of the open window that I saw. I was running down the street and I came up to a gas station and I saw a woman pumping her gas. She screamed. And her husband got out the car and he covered me with a towel. The attendant in the gas station called an ambulance. They came and got me. I felt a sharp pain through my head when I was trying to open my mouth, it was lights running all over me. It was swabbing me, taking fluids. I even heard one of the medics say, I think her jaw is broken. Her arm is broken and her shoulder is dislocated.
Tell me when you go back to school what happens, because I see here in my notes that when you returned to school there were several fights since you returned.
Well, I went back to school about 2 months later, and I got jumped by 2 girls. So the dean had me to stay home the following week because the harassment just became too much. I had a nervous breakdown, and then I got a call from Shalonda saying, girl, you won't believe what video circulating about you on Instagram and Twitter. You look like you had a good time. Everyone starts hitting me up in my DM and sending texts and video clips of me. They take turns on me. And they post the videos online. I'm not even moving. I can't speak. You can't even clearly see that. I can't even hold up my own head. I can see with my own eyes. Mike take his turn and he's smiling in his video. All the pics I sent him, posted them on the school Facebook page. And my father saw him. I've been getting called all sorts of names. I like Mike. And I thought he liked me too. I thought I could trust him. Like I thought my friends had my back. Come to think of it, I don't even know where they were when we started taking shots. He left me when we got to the party. I'm being bullied by people on social media and in person. I can't even go around without people harassing me. They pointing fingers. Man asked for all sorts of crazy sexual favors. I only sent those pictures to Mike because I liked him. I didn't know he was going to share them. I thought my friends had my back. But when I replay everything, I don't know. Where was Shalonda? Where was Tanika? They left me as soon as we got to the party. Come to think of it, they wasn't even with me when I started taking shots. I thought I could trust him. I thought he liked me. I thought my friends would look out for me. Now I can't even finish school.
Shantavia, it's okay. And you're being very brave and you're doing the right thing. It takes courage, it takes guts to tell us what happened, to give your testimony, to help us bring these dogs to justice. You're safe. And this is the first step to recovering from this type of trauma. But I swear on my life that you are going to receive justice. Okay. Here's some water.
I was able to get some of the students to forward me partial copies of the video clips and the pictures that was posted on social media. When I saw what they did to me, and I hear the things they say to me, I just lost it. I saw how they abused me, how they assaulted me, and they recorded it. They beat me during the assault, and they were laughing the entire time. Tell me what I need to do to put these men in jail. They sold me. Please find them.
Sorry, Shantavia. Let me grab this. Hey girl, how's life treating you?
Pretty good. Got my new office. 5 this week.
5.
Some of them were no older than 10.
No, in the past 2 days?
Oh yeah.
It's been like 15 over a 2-week break, and We're still dealing with the children that we saved from the Joseph sex trafficking ring back in 16. You know, it still shocks me when I find out that a woman or women actually was doing this and they were involved in this. I mean, this is a woman, using the term loosely. But she set up the dates for these minors. She knew. She arranged the hotel room.
Not only that, she recorded most of the transactions.
So exactly how many was it?
It was originally about 38 to 40 of them.
That many? 38 or 40?
We rescued about 25 girls.
Okay, and we could only save the 25, so we don't know where the others are.
They sold some of them before we could get to them. From what we were told by our connections.
Yeah, I understand. I understand completely. I don't think these girls are ever going to be the same. I really don't. How can they be?
After this job, I will never be the same. These people are getting more clever and inventive by the day. We honestly can't keep up with them.
62% of human trafficking suspects are African American. 52% of all juvenile prostitution arrests are African Americans. 40% of victims of human trafficking are African Americans. Human trafficking victims are typically poor and have a history of exploitation, substance or sexual abuse, learning disabilities, and inadequate support systems. Some argue that the demand for African Americans for sexual exploitation is higher than that of any other race, and the penalties associated with trafficking African Americans are less severe. Human trafficking victims are more likely to be African American than any other ethnicity. In 2012, the U.S. Department of Justice reported that 62% of human trafficking suspects, including children and adults, are African American. Additionally, African American children make up 52% of all juvenile prostitution arrests. In many instances, these children are not prostitutes, they're victims. Researchers and advocates alike are trying to understand why African Americans are overrepresented in human trafficking. Some argue that the demand for African Americans is higher than the demand for other races. Others suggest that because African American men abduct and traffic the highest percentage of African American human trafficking victims, the traffickers have more connections to African American victims and operate more comfortably in lower income African American communities where many victims live. Equally as disturbing is the traffickers interviewed for a recent Urban Institute study overwhelmingly believe that trafficking white women would make them more money, but trafficking black women would land them less jail time if caught. These traffickers are more than likely selling the services of their victims to affluent Caucasian men. Advantaged Caucasian offenders are more relatable and thus more creditable to jurors than young, poor, less educated victims. Instead of protection, counseling, and training, they are given jail time and the penalties of having a juvenile record. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, only about 13% of confirmed human trafficking victims in the U.S. are 25 or older. 1,000 children and youth victims are forced into human trafficking trades each year, many being only in middle school. The question is, what can we as a community do to advocate for young African American women and girls?